cowboy gear on, ain't it?
East Coast. East
Yeah,
Coast.
whatever.
East Coast.
Goat talk.
Well, you're an East Coast guy too. What are you talking about? East Coast is the best coast.
Eagles.
I'm talking about the East Coast.
All right, LKSP 56 here. I'd like to welcome y'all to the LK Sport Podcast. Shout out to A1 Dunn on the beat. On this episode, we're talking NFC East. We got them Cowboys in there. So he's going to enjoy this podcast more than any other. This is number 7 of the 8. We're doing a broke down all divisions already. Only one left we got after this one is the AFC East. So go back, subscribe, like, notification, do all that good stuff. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Watch these beautiful faces on YouTube at the LK Pods. Also, you will see my other podcast, CST, which is Chill Sip and Talk, which is a growing brand as well that I do. We do different from this one, more laid back talking topics and things of that nature. Got my dog G Money with me. You already know what's happening.
What up?
For sure, man. How you feeling about this?
Good. This is a fun division. This is fun. I mean, the best division in football last year.
Yeah, true.
It was three playoff teams, but I mean, not the best division in football, but was last year.
Right on. Let's jump into it, man. NFC East, Washington Commanders.
Yeah, the Commanders, formerly known as the Washington football team, formerly known as the Redskins.
And formerly known as the Commanders as well. You know, they just got bought out. That dickhead asshole.
No more Snyder.
Snyder is gone, so let's get fuck that. Yeah. Bye.
I think everybody's happy about that.
I'm going to give you one of your favorite drops. He was some bullshit.
A bullshit? A bullshit.
For sure.
All right.
But yeah, they're coached by Ron Rivera. They were 8-1 last year. They did bring in a new offensive coordinator this year, Eric Bieniemy. So we'll see what happens. But last year, this team was very good on the defensive side of the ball, not so good on offense. They were 20th in total offense, 24th in points at just under 19. They were 21st in passing, 12th in rushing. But again, like I said, on the defensive side of the ball, they were 4th in total D. They gave up the 7th fewest points at 20.2. They were 4th versus the pass, 11th versus the rush, 12th in sacks. But they were 6th worst in turnover differential at -5. So we'll see. I mean, that's
we already know Washington Commanders, and we only hope for they can be decent this year. 8-1 last year. They did pretty well. They got an over on 7.5 this year. They went and got Jacoby Brissett to back up Sam Howell, or it might be Jacoby Brissett to start the year. I had seen a quote from the head coach, Rivera. They said Brissett is having a great training camp. Who knows what can happen. But I think you should put their hands in Sam Howell, which we'll talk about a little more in a second.
I think he's going to be. And I can't believe you didn't bring up the third-string quarterback.
For what?
Jake Fromm.
What? Because he's a dog. I love dogs. You know, I
know.
Dogs. So, I mean, I wasn't the biggest Jake Fromm fan. I'm not going to lie why he was a Bulldog. I mean, I still root for him. I think he's still a dog. He's still cashing those checks. So, I ain't mad at you, bro. Get that money. So, where was I? Oh, free agency. They got Jacoby Brissett. They went and signed Andrew Wiley to boost up that offensive line, which was terrible last year, which is still, by ranking, is terrible. They got the 27th ranked offensive line. They went and got Nick Gates and Nick Larson, some guys they re-signed. On the defense, it's major. They went and gave 4 years, $90 million to Darian Payne. That defense line was great last year, even without Chase Young. Chase Young's back finally healthy this year, so we only can imagine what that front four can do this
Contract year too, because they didn't give him fifth-year option, so he's playing for money.
Yeah. So they tried to tighten up that cornerback. They went and drafted Emmanuel Forbes with their first-round pick, which I like a lot. This guy, he's lengthy. He can get it done. He went and got Cameron Dantzler off the waivers from Vikings. You got Danny Johnson on the 2-year deal. You re-signed him to shore up that DB spot. You got the 24th strength of schedule. So Sam Howell, let's go and get back to this guy. Quarterback, he was quarterback at North Carolina. This is his what?
Second year. They handed him the keys to Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Antonio Gilson, Brian Robinson Jr. Who else is there? Curtis Samuel. Is this a 500 ball club with Sam Howell? It's gonna be close. I mean, schedule. Their schedule. I think. I
And
think.
plus Bieniemy in that offense.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see. I mean, Bieniemy. There's a question mark with Bieniemy too. We have to see. He doesn't have Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have Andy Reid, and he's never called plays before because he was the offensive coordinator there, but Andy Reid called the plays. So we'll see. I mean, they want to give Sam Howell a chance. I mean, like I said, they do have Brissett there. They like the upside with that. Howell is a awesome athlete. The kid can run. I mean, he's like he owns the SEC record for like broken tackles. I'm sorry, the ACC record for broken tackles by a quarterback when he was playing. He's just a really good athlete. He's got to learn to throw the ball. We'll see. I mean, unfortunately, in their this division, I think they can finish third in this division. I think that's the ceiling for them. Can they be? I think they can. At best, they can be around a 500 team.
So they can't be better than the Cowboys?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe they'd be better than the Eagles. Maybe we'll see. But
You must be out your goddamn mind.
so we'll see. I mean, again, like I said, if Sam Howell, I mean, sometimes these guys come out. If Sam Howell ends up coming out, or they let Brissett play, and Brissett does his. We know. If Brissett is he's what you're getting from him. You know what I mean? Like he'll be solid. He's got a lot of weapons. He's not. We'll see with this offensive line though too, because Brissett is not the most mobile quarterback. He moves in the pocket well, but he's not going to run like Sam Howell is. So
true.
But this team, they got.
I think they got to hang their head. Well, I want to say they got to hang their head on that front four. Chase Young, Darren Payne, Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat. This is the best defensive line in football. I don't give a damn what nobody can tell you. You got Eagles right there, the close second. You got I can't think. But as I go through it in my brain, like when I try to think
it's right. They're right there.
I think they're the best defensive line, healthy in football, with Payne, Allen, Sweat, Young. It doesn't get any better than this guy. Trust me. That front four can get disruptive and let that other 7 guys zone it and do all those other things that defensive mechanics can do and schemes and things of that nature. This can change this whole ball club. I mean, teams can't score more than 15, 16 points. You have a chance to win some football games. So I'm saying,
we'll have to see what they do. Like I said, if this team exceeds expectations on the offensive side of the ball, there's no reason to think they can't be, the Giants or the Seahawks from last year in this NFC and squeak in the AFC. The NFC East gets a third team in the playoffs.
Right.
I don't think it's going to happen, but it wouldn't shock me. What we said, like I said, this defense. We know how good Chase Young is. Again, this defense was good last year with Young missing most, and he's playing. He should be super motivated as well too. So yeah, there's. And they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of talent on offense too. They have a lot of talented guys here. So if they can get some good, decent quarterback play, they might be all right. But again,
what is their ceiling?
9 wins.
Wow, that's it.
I think so. The schedule, the division they play, these teams that they play, I've had trouble going through their schedule. I want to give them more wins, but it's just they don't have the easiest schedule in the world. So if you're gonna bring it up, but they
don't get a bye week to 14. I'm just going through the first 6 or 7 at home versus Arizona. I can give them a win at Denver, maybe 1-1. Buffalo 1-2 at Philly. That's 1-3. Chicago at home, they can win that game. Say 2-3 at Atlanta. They can win that game, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give them 3-3. At New York, I got them splitting, so I'm going to say 3-4. Philly at home, I don't think they're a better football team than them, so 3-5. At New England, I got them losing that one because that's my team. I can't do it to myself. 3-6.
I can't wait for that.
Seattle 3-7. I'm very high on them. New York, I got them split 4-7. At Dallas, that's 4-8. Then they got Miami coming into town. That's 4-9. So yeah,
it's like where are the wins at that. Yeah. I've had the same problem going through their schedule. I might be able to go in and find a few more wins. I might on a couple of those maybe, but it's not easy. I mean, they're going to probably. I mean,
they're 5-12. I'm telling you.
Off the rip, they're probably. You're probably losing 4 games to the Eagles and Cowboys. Probably. You never know injuries and things like that, and then. Yeah, if they split with the Giants, maybe they can sweep the Giants, but probably they're more likely. The Giants and Washington always seem to split. They always split. So they tied last year. So that's. But it's just, it's. I just don't see. Again, they're one of those things that we were talking about with some of those AFC teams. They could be much improved this year, but be worse than they were last year. They could be playing better football and just and have a worse record. I mean, they were 8-1 last year, so. Where you said 5, I think I have them at 5 or 6 wins also. So,
fantasy football purposes, which we got a fantasy football podcast coming as well. We're gonna give a deep dive in that as well. It's gonna be a little longer, hour and a half or so probably. We're gonna go into ADPs and things of that nature. And with the mock draft, we haven't really been marketing that much, but we're gonna try to get us a mock draft in there soon. With us traveling to Texas in the end of the month, it's gonna try to get it in there as soon as possible, but. Fantasy football, Terry McLaurin, Brian Robinson, Gibson. I got both of them. I got a slash. It depends your style. I think Brian Robinson going to get the early down work, and I think Gibson, he said he's going to take the McKissick role, so a lot of third down for 4-minute offense if you think that they're going to be down in games, and Gibson is the more your choice. If Robinson, you think they're going to ball control it, depending on that defensive line, Robinson your choice, and he's going to be that goal line back, I'm pretty sure. Chris Rodriguez Jr., running back from Kentucky, is a great handicap if anything happened to any one of those two backs. He's a good runner. He's decent. He has decent hands. He's not Antonio Gibson hands, but he's capable of catching the ball and filling in if one of those guys go out. So keep a watch out for him. Jahan Dotson. A lot of people high on him. My only question mark is Sam Howell got enough to get it all around. He got to feed Brandon Robinson handoffs, Gibson dump-offs. McLaurin's going to get his 150 targets this year. However, I'm not a great ADP guy that goes through guys and see how many targets they get a game and things of that nature. But I'm guessing 150 targets. Then you got Jahan Dotson.
He had 120 last year, just so, for reference, he had 120.
Right. And then I think Curtis Samuel's still going to be part of this offense. Rivera, he came from Carolina. Rivera going to get him involved as well. So, dividing that pie, is Sam Howell capable enough? Is he going to throw? I'm trying to do some math in my head. Is he going to have 500 pass attempts this year? Who knows?
We'll see. And then with the Brissett hold, because the other thing about new ownership, new things like that, Ron Rivera might be coaching for his life here. So correct. Is there that? I think that can factor in unless from above they're like, you got to stay with Hal.
Correct. You're
safe, but if they start losing some games and Rivera's worried about job security. Maybe he makes the move. We'll see. But
right.
I think I like the receivers more if Brissett's playing.
Right.
I feel more confident. Who knows? Maybe Sam Howell's the next freaking.
With him
Patrick
scrambling,
Mahomes.
that can open up some opportunities for wide receivers as well, getting out of the sacks and.
For sure. Yeah, it's tough, though. Those receivers are tough. It's Dotson. I like Dotson's talent, but Samuel's like he's like a little Swiss Army knife. He does Curtis Samuel. Okay, he's like a little Swiss Army knife. He can run the ball, and then even Gibson, like you said, the third downs. He's he was a receiver in college. So funny to think about some of these guys.
Under 7.5, correct?
Yes.
Let's move on. New York Giants. New York football Giants. Let me put some respect on the folks.
The New Jersey Giants.
Whatever.
The New Jersey Giants. So
they beat us twice, so I can't. I got to put some respect on them guys.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. But they somehow eked out a 9-7-1 record last year, coached by Brian Dable.
You're such a goddamn hater, bro.
They got blown out. They got blown out in the divisional round to Philly.
That's
not on my mind.
Such a hater, bro.
This team, we'll get into it. It has nothing to do with hating. This team, I think this team a lot of people agree. This team did with a lot of smoke and mirrors last year. They even I'm going to go over the stats now, right? So they weren't good at anything. They won some close. They benefited from a good schedule, and they did some things. They were 18th in total offense. I don't want to turn this just completely basking the Giants, because if I thought the Giants were going to be good, I would say I thought they were going to be good. They were 15th in points per game at 21.5, 26th in passing, get you $40 million a year, 4th in rushing. They were 25th in total defense, so 18th in total offense, 25th in total defense, 17th in points per giving up points at 21.8, 15th versus the pass, 27th versus the rush. They were 5th in sacks, but they had a plus 6 turnover differential, which is a little bit above average. So Daniel Jones learned last year not to turn the ball over last year by
say how many plus? It's +3.
+3.
Great,
but he threw 16 touchdown passes. With the good or the bad, they really.
Daniel Jones got legs. He can run.
For sure.
Got a lot of first downs.
They like to call him Danny Dimes or Vanilla Vic. I like Trash Can Dan. That's the nickname that I've heard recently that I like. But
this dude, bro.
When you grow up a Cowboys fan living in New York, it's tough. They gave it to me, I give it back to them. So it's just what happens. But
they drafted Deontay Banks, cornerback from Maryland, with their first pick. Second pick, they went center from Minnesota, Schmitz, and then who's getting a lot of hype train promotions, Jalen Hyatt, a third-round pick from Tennessee. They say he's fast, he's quick, he can get it done. Yeah, he is fast. So they got a lot of stock and hype train going on with him right now. In the offseason, they gave Daniel Jones 4 years, $160 million, 40 years per year, which he laughs about. That he thinks is very, very comical. Saquon Barkley did.
They should have given him 10 years, $400 million. I would have accepted that.
They gave him a year, $11 million incentive deal. He was happy with Paris Campbell. They went and got to put him in the slot. They got a ton of slots. They got Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton. They got Paris Campbell. They got
Isaiah Hodge,
all those type of guys. Jalen Hyatt in their wide receiver core, but the main guy to me via trade, they got Darren Waller. Say he looks immaculate right now. They see Daniel Jones trust him a lot. He's the tallest guy in that catching core right now, and he's getting a lot of hype. Defensive wise, they went and got Bobby Kirky. Don't know much about him. They gave him 4 years, $40 million. I think they love him. But the biggest one of all, you already know, Dexter Lawrence, 4 years, $90 million, big guy in the middle of that defense. Nothing goes without him disrupting things up there in that middle for that football squad. 971 last year, over under 8.5. Looking at this depth chart. You got the 19th strength of schedule, 29th rank.
Tony, I feel obviously we'll have our prediction show, but if you go through their schedule too, I feel like you're going to run into the same kind of thing you ran with Washington. It's just like where, and like I said, Darren Waller was a great pickup. I just don't know if it's enough.
I think his defense still will be good. You got Leonard Williams.
The defense was average last year.
Okirky, they gave this bread to. Adoree Jackson was decent last year. Xavier McKinney, Deontay Banks, they draft first round pick. Cornerbacks they have humps being rookies in this league with holes and getting adjusted to how NFL refereeing goes.
They were 25th in total defense and 17th in points. So it's not like I said. I think they
had spurts last year.
They won a lot of close games and beat a lot of not so good teams. So I think it has nothing to do. I'm telling you, my opinion. Yes, I hate the New Jersey Giants. I can't stand them.
New York Giants, maybe
they play in New Jersey though. I could be wrong, but they play in New Jersey.
East Rutherford. You're correct.
But yeah, I just don't. Again, have crazier things happen. Yes, like I said, I love if Darren Waller is healthy, which has been a big question mark the last couple of years. He's a great addition to this team for sure. Will they get enough from, but Daniel Jones, can he throw the ball a little bit more? If they're not, I imagine teams are going to try to stop
Daniel Jones is going to outperform Dak Prescott this year. Book it.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
I'm sick of your shit.
Locked in.
Daniel Jones is going to outperform Dak Prescott.
That's just
Dak Prescott would throw more interceptions than Daniel Jones this year. Let's make a bet on that.
Is Daniel Jones going to throw the ball more than 5 times a game?
What I asked you.
No, I will say that percentage-wise, I think Dak will have less.
That's all right. I got another bet for you. Total yardage equal rushing and passing. Daniel Jones have more than.
Yeah, that I would take for sure. Barring injury, of course, but that one I would definitely take. But I don't like betting. I don't feel comfortable betting on my team or my players. It's something I don't like to do. It's something I don't do.
I get to add Daniel Jones rushing and passing yards together to beat Dak Prescott. Let's do it. We got something to take it on. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, although it's funny because it made me think I was going to ask you about Pedro, about who would have, we'll do that, but who would have more wins, the Cowboys or the Patriots and the Colts combined?
That's a pretty good one. I like it. Fantasy football, you already know Saquon Barkley, Waller. And I put Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones is very capable with his running. He can get it done for you in fantasy football.
Yeah, I mean, the running, those two guys, and Daniel Jones he's viable starter only because of the rushing. I mean, he literally threw 15 touchdown passes last year, right? Was it 15 or 16?
How many rushing yards he had last year?
I'm just bringing this up right now. He had 708 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns, and he had 15 touchdown passes last year.
How many total touchdowns he had?
Threw for 3,200 yards. He had 22.
Oh, that's not. He's on like 4,000 total yards. I might lose that bet now.
I know Dak played 12 games and had more than that, I think.
Yeah. So it's okay. I'm going to ride it out. But I think Jalen Hyatt going to be good for him if they can stretch the field with him, that they give him this hype train. And Sterling Shepard, anything he can be, Darius Slayton, all these guys are capable of running routes, and hopefully they can catch the ball for him this year. And like I said, Jalen Hyatt stretching the field, Waller in the middle. You got Shepard, Campbell combination, Slayton combination going across doing these routes. Who knows? Giants can go over that 8.5, but on paper right now, I got them going under. What you want? Bullshit?
Oh, hell no!
I played them both together. That was perfect.
Yeah, you did.
That was great. That really worked out well for me.
So, on paper, like I said, when we do our prediction show, right now I'm going
to go under.
I'm going to go under.
Yeah, it's all fluid. We will have a prediction show, but I have a feeling it's not going to change for me, but it maybe changes for LK over here. But
hey, man, I just see difference in team when they come together, chemistry, and Dabo did with those guys next year. Maybe can carry.
No, it looks like he's a good coach. So we'll see that. But again, we've seen coaches like we've seen players have one good season and then digress. But I actually do think that Dabo is actually a good coach. I just don't know if the Giants. I just think I think after the top 2 teams in this division, I think there's a big drop off. So that's, have I been wrong before? I have.
I'm not looking forward to this next team. I'm not.
America's team.
Go ahead.
The Dallas Cowboys, who were 12-5 last year, coached by Mike McCarthy. Hey, what happened to my sound? Turn me off. They were 12-5, coached by Mike McCarthy. They lost in the playoffs in the divisional round. They won. They let's not forget, they ended Tom Brady's career. It's just a matter of fact. They ended Tom Brady's career in like a blowout. Statistically, last year they did get rid of their offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, and McCarthy is going to be calling the plays now. So we'll see what happens with that. Offensively, they were 10th and they were.
Ain't nobody trying to hear that bullshit, man.
They were 10th.
They wrote you the whole time.
They were 10th in total offense, with Dak missing 5 games. 4th in points at 27.5, 14th in passing, 8th in rushing. On the defensive side of the ball, they were 13th in total D, 5th in points against, 8th versus the pass, 22nd versus the rush. They were 3rd in sacks, and they had a plus 10 turnover differential, which was second best in the league. Only the 49ers were ahead of them in that category. Because this defense is going to be all time. You watch.
I have nothing to say.
What did you do when you made your first picks this year? Who did you have winning the Super Bowl?
Cowboys. I had them in there.
I know it's fluid. I know it could change, but you did. So it's not like, the team's won. I know everybody wants to hate, and they're going to lose in the playoffs and all this stuff. They've won 12 games each of the last 2 years. They won a playoff. They've won a playoff game last year. They've improved. This is being as unbiased as they can be. I think Dak was a little bit of a fluke. Dak definitely cannot turn the ball over like that. He never has done that before in his career. So hopefully he goes back to what he's normally like, with having one of the
best quarterback in this division.
The 4th best. Now you're just being stupid. But they should be. Like I said, Micah Parsons. This defense is going to be. They brought in Brandon Cooks. I mean, we'll get to all that stuff, but I mean, they should be better.
Keep going.
No, I'm saying, well, it's on to you now. Let's talk about some of the additions that they added, right? I mean,
Ronald Jones, they added to bolstered up that backfield. He's suspended the first 2 games,
and he's hurt now too.
Yeah, some people say he won't even make the roster. Tony Pollard, franchised. You got Brandon Cooks via trade, which is excellent for them. I think that's perfect. He's a perfect number 2 guy. That's what he does well. Every time he gets on a great team with a number 1, he performs very well. On the defensive side, you re-signed Dante Fowler, you re-signed Vander X to a 2-year deal. You went and got Stephon Gilmore via trade to go across from Diggs, and you re-signed Donovan Wilson was big for you as well. What's the other safety that you wanted to get back? I can't remember his name.
We have Hooker, and there's Hooker and there's also
I like him.
Yeah, they actually have 3 good safeties. So
I like Hooker. Well, what's the other key name?
Curse.
Yes.
No, they have a great safety room. It's like all those guys they come up and play linebacker and do things. Yeah, they all kind of like gives them some work. And a guy to watch out this year playing linebacker also too is Jabril Cox, who was like a 2nd or 3rd round pick from them last year. Who I expect some big things. Like I said, I just expect. Hopefully they were a little bit susceptible to the run last year.
Can I get done? I'm sick of you talking. Can I get done?
Go.
I'm just playing. Go ahead.
Go. No. That's what I was saying.
I'll just give you shit, bro.
Yeah,
I got to do it. Mozzie Smith was their 1st round pick. This guy said, I don't like football, I just like hitting people. So, I mean, what's not to love about this guy? You went and got Luke, tight end, Shoemaker. So, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. 6th ranked offensive line. Maybe it goes down if you don't pay Zach Martin. I guess he's calling up bluffs of losing, $50,000 a game or something?
A day, yeah.
So, a day. So, I thought it was a game. So,
That's
sorry. That's a lot of bread. Jerry Jones, we were speaking about it earlier, said basically you were the highest paid guard for some time. Time changed, and things happen. So, you want to be the highest paid again, which I can see both sides of this argument. I'm still the number 1 guard to me, and I think he's one of the best guard in the NFL. Yeah, I mean, and he wants to be. If you're number 1, you want to be paid number 1. I get it. I mean, you got to figure it out. But you spoke about you got to pay Michael soon. Who else you got to pay?
CD.
Maybe you even got to want to throw Paula a little bread. I mean, who knows? And even though it's so,
they'll probably tag him again next year. But
right, true. No. So, I mean, you see what happened. They got an 18th strength of schedule. So going on to the fantasy football wise, then we go to the over under 9.5. Most definitely this defense. If you got a defensive fantasy football league, CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, Dak Prescott, I got you can pick him up as well. Even though I don't think, who knows what he'll do this year. Brandon Cooks. Who else? Who else would you like on this offense?
No, I mean I think those.
Would you like Ferguson?
I would maybe take a flyer or watch him. I know they're high. I know Travis Kelce has said some really good things about him. I mean, he showed some flashes last year. I think he's a good athlete. We'll see, when Shoemaker comes back from being injured, because he's a guy that's he's like a really good blocker, older guy. So I think they'll do a lot of 2 tight ends with 1 back and 3 receivers. Like a lot of teams. But, yeah, I mean, I think Brandon Cooks could be a little sneaky guy. I mean, Michael Gallup's a nice – fantasy-wise, Gallup could be okay. But, I mean, now that Gallup's the 3rd wide receiver, as we're talking about this team, I mean, that's a really –
roster 3 wide receivers in fantasy, Dak Prescott got to have an amazing season.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good 3rd receiver. I mean, Gallup is a really good 3rd receiver. And he's now a full year away from his knee injury, too. Yeah. So – no, I mean, I think I like Dak. I think Dak, especially for where he's being drafted wise, I think Dak is going to be, you could do a lot worse than Dak Prescott as your fantasy quarterback this year. And I don't think he'll turn the ball over like he did last year.
Based on draft position, ADP, we know a little bit. Like I said, I'll dip my toe just a little bit. Would you rather have Tony Pollard or CeeDee Lamb?
CeeDee Lamb. It's Pollard again, a guy coming off a major injury like that. It's a little bit, and he's never had the full load before.
Correct.
So that those kind of things. I can be honest. I mean, we'll see. I mean, that's why I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if we bring in Zeke. I mean, there's still Leonard Fournette's out there too. So I would be. I know they're. I know they like the young. They know they like the young guys, Malik Davis and Deuce Vaughn, who's their little freaking little Darren Sproles guy. He's like 5'5", looks like a little kid out there running. But we'll see. They say they like those guys, but I think that I would be surprised if they don't do it, if they don't make a move.
Over under 9.5.
Over.
I give it to you.
Not to mention also in this division too, nobody is 2000. It's been over 20 years since somebody's won this division back to back. So
you got it going on with the Cowboys. I wish it was this great for the other teams that we did.
That's a division stat though.
I'm just talking shit, bro.
I know, but I know about all this stuff.
I like y'all team. Honestly, all bias aside, we're friends, so I give each other shit about our teams. When
it's the Cowboys. You have to give them shit. That's just part of.
But
part of being an American, like American team. Part of being an American is if you don't like the Cowboys, you have to hate the Cowboys. So
true. I think you're good. I think your team is good. Y'all have a real chance to get it done this year. So, like I said, it's back on the arms of Dak and health. Always health and injuries is a part of football. You got a three-way monster in Gallup, Lamb, who I'm leaving out, Cooks. Getting anything from that tight end position between Ferguson, Hendershot, and Shoemaker, which is more of a blocker, but who knows? The offensive line is good. You get Martin back in there. Jerry Jones working.
I think he'll be there.
That defense with Diggs and Gilmore on each side, and that safety position, Michael Parson, Van Der Esch. I mean, y'all got
this
is
year
players.
3 of Micah too. This is year 3, so
y'all got players at every level. Y'all can get it together, push it together. Maybe this is the year for y'all. And I it's bittersweet for me for the Cowboys. I kind of want y'all to win it, but then I don't because y'all not gonna shut the hell up. So it's like
nobody shuts up when they win, though.
I did. I was humble.
I don't know. I didn't know you then, so I can't say.
Maybe
who was humble? That's what I said. People. I always say this. I feel like Cowboy fans get a bad rap. Don't get me wrong. There are ridiculous Cowboy fans. I try not to be one of those ridiculous. I know it comes out. I mean, I have to when we're doing this. I have to come from that kind of way, but. There are a lot of fans are ridiculous. Eagles fans are ridiculous, but there's more of us than there is of anybody else. There's more Cowboy fans, so you're more likely to have more of the stupid. This is our year. This is our this year. This is our year. I never say that. I might say that this year, but I don't say that every year. That's not what I do every year.
Y'all are good though.
So
we're gonna move on to the Philadelphia Eagles, which you love, correct?
Yes, I do. I love the Eagles. They were 14. They were 14-3 last year. They won the division.
Correct.
They lost in the Super Bowl, which was fun.
They got there.
They did get there. They're coached by Nick Sirianni, but they did lose. They did lose both their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator, who got head coaching jobs. But again, this team was very good last year. They were second in total offense, third in points per game at 28.1. They were ninth in passing, fifth in rushing. They were third in total defense, first versus the pass, 17th versus the rush, eighth in points at 20.2. They had the most sacks. They had a plus 8 turnover differential, which was third best, just behind the Cowboys and the Niners.
Eagles are good. Cowboys are good. Eagles are good. 14-3 last year. They got over under 10.5. They went and got them Georgia Border Gold Dogs. I got to get them dog noise on my shit. I don't know why I keep waiting. I got to get that on there because them dog coming.
Georgia North over there.
Yes, they are. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. Let's talk about it. Champs, 2-time champs. Let's be correct. Then they went and got Alabama.
In college football, they were 2-time champs.
Yeah. Sorry. Back to back, and we're going 3-peat this year.
Hey, I go Dogs. Go Dogs for sure.
Number 1 offensive line, 13 strength of schedule. They went and got Jalen. They gave Jalen the bag. Let's go and count it up for him. Got them digits. 5-year, $225 million. They re-signed Rashad Penny. They went and got via trade DeAndre Swift. They went and got Jason Kelce. Said, hey, we're going to do it like this. I'm going to come back for another year. So Jason Kelce was contemplating retirement. He was like, this team is good, I guess. He was like, okay, I'm going to come back. They talked him into it. To back up Hurts, they got Mariota, which he was in Atlanta last year. It didn't go as well.
I think he's the perfect backup.
If you watch quarterback, so it's a little bad blood there. He didn't like how things went down there. So
that's what happens. I mean, he's a good backup. I mean, he's basically
correct.
Jalen Hurts. He's basically Jalen Hurts. I mean, same kind of player. So
they re-signed Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. They brought that defense back. James Bradbury, 3-year deal. Darren Slade, 3-year deal. Greedy Williams came over from
minus. They did bring the defense back minus 6 players.
Correct. They added some talent. I like Terry.
No. I'm saying, but they do have 6 new starters.
And they added a couple more guys here. They are Miles Jack and Malik Cunningham. I think there's 2 names. So I like their depth there in Philadelphia. I think they can try and go on again for it. I think they have a chance as well. I think their team is good. I think they're put together pretty well. If you see this team, I say this offense out loud with Jalen Hurts, Swift, Penny, Gainwell, Boston Scott. 4 deep back there that can get it done. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, Goddard is I think is a top 5 tight end, especially fantasy wise. He gets it done there for him. Offensive line is number 1, so that's perfect for Jalen Hurts. Defense, you got Brandon Graham, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox, Josh Sweat, Nakobe Dean, Miles Jack, Nolan Smith, Hassan Reddick, James Bradbury. All these names y'all know. Terrell Edmonds, Darius Slade, Greedy Williams, Keely Ringo. Go Dogs. You know I had to put him in there. Come on now. So,
they do have new safeties, too. Both their they have replaced. They lost both their starting safeties as well,
correct.
Too.
So, and Jake Elliott is dependable. I like to mention that place kicker because when it comes to the team that's good, they always come through and wins for you. So, but over 10.5, I got the over. Fantasy football-wise, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. This backfield, would you rather have Pennies or Swift if you had to have one on your fantasy football roster?
I mean, I guess Swift. Swift has the high. He has the high upside for sure.
True.
So if he's, if he can stay on the field,
yes. With that offensive line, any one of them can get it done. I mean, they're going to be good. I mean, you can be a rival of Eagles like my boy G Money here. But at the end of the day, if you're looking at this roster, despite how you personally feel, you got to give them a chance to win over 10.5 games.
Yeah, for sure. I would take the over. I would take the over for sure. They are going through some transition though. Like I said, they appear to have filled the holes that they lost. Like I said, 6. Both. I mean, the coordinators. That's the TBD. We'll see with the TBD with the coordinators because they lost their play caller on offense and their defensive coordinator. So we'll see what happens. That with 6 new starters, a new running back room. Their top 2 running backs now are new. Also, two guys that have not stayed healthy. But I mean, we'll see. And can Jalen Hurts can continue to improve as a passer? Because he was playing like you said. The offensive line is good, tons of weapons. This is a team that everything around Hurts was perfect. So they got he got paid now, so they're going to slowly start losing pieces because you can't pay everybody once you pay the quarterback. So we'll see. But I mean, again, I expect like I've said, I've been saying all offseason, this division it's the Eagles or the Cowboys. It's the Eagles and Cowboys. Like they're going to be. One of them are going to win this division, of course, barring injuries, of course, which you can't predict. But they should be. Yeah, I'm not doubting that they should be good, but they do have some question marks, and we'll see if these guys, if they hit on all these draft picks, they'll be right back, competing to go to. I mean, like I said, I've said several times. Now I'll say this again. Now that we've talked about all 3 teams, if the NFC the representative in the Super Bowl is not the Eagles, the Cowboys, or the Niners, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, they're a very good team.
I mean, those are. I think they're clearly the. Yeah, we only even have the AFC East left. So in the NFC, I think after those 3 teams, there's a pretty big drop off. So they should be good. I said as much as I want to. I mean, I want to hate on. See, this is what I mean. Like I hate the Eagles as much as I hate the Giants.
Correct.
But I'm not. I can't hate on them because they have a good team. Like I said, they definitely have some question marks, and I hope they all fail. I hope they all fail, and the Cowboys run away with the division. But that's more than likely not going to happen. So we'll see.
Being a real Cowboys fan, fantasy football wise, would you love Jalen Hurts to be your quarterback?
For sure. I mean, yes and no, because I'm not going to take a quarterback that high.
True.
To me, it's just not worth it. But yeah, no, I think even if the Eagles digress this year or whatever, just with his rushing and ability and things like that. He's a great. I mean, I think I like to joke last year with all the QB sneaks. He had like 8 1-yard touchdowns last year.
Yeah, he took a lot of.
I like to joke that
touchdowns
that Sirianni had him on his fantasy team. That was my joke last year. His coach had his own quarterback on his fantasy team. So he's like QB sneak, let's go.
It worked though. I mean, despite what we say, I mean, it really
no,
worked.
it does. I've been screaming for since I've been watching football why teams don't run more quarterback sneaks than short yardage down, because you shouldn't be able to stop it. You shouldn't.
Tom Brady made a living out of getting a first down.
If you need like a yard or less, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to get that. No matter, it's almost impossible.
But
to stop.
they was actually complaining about it last year. Like they need to do something about it. But what can you really do? Like what rule can you put in? Like what sneaks a game or something like?
No, there's nothing you can do. It's like it's smart football, because it's really even when you like I said, look how successful Tom Brady was, and he's not like Mr. Runner or the biggest guy. It's just really hard to. You just gotta get a little, especially when you in short yardage. It's just so hard to stop.
Very true. So we're gonna wrap up here the NFC East. I'm gonna go Eagles Cowboys. For the sake of this podcast, I'm going Eagles Cowboys, Giants Washington.
I'll go Cowboys, Eagles, Washington. Giants.
I knew you'd do it.
I hate this is one of this division has some of the biggest rival. I mean, Washington bothers me the least because they've been the least, in recent years. But I just with that though, I have the Eagles and Cowboys both of the same record right now. So, but whatever, and that the Cowboys have the tiebreaker, I guess, because they have the better division record. So,
what's the worst case scenario for this division?
For the division?
Yeah,
the Giants win it.
True.
If the Giants win this division, something fucked up shit happen.
I'm saying, okay, let's think about this. I got a couple minutes. Where in the books Sam Howell can't be good?
No, I mean, I said that before. I was like, well, what if he ends up being the next Patrick Mahomes or something like that? I mean, we've seen quarterbacks come out of nowhere before.
I won't say Patrick Mahomes, but I can see him running around, pulling this is going to be funny.
Jalen Hurts.
The couple years that Carson Wentz pulled off when he first got to the Eagles, I can see him doing some shit like that.
Yeah, he's a better athlete than Carson Wentz too. I mean, he's probably more of like an RG3 Jalen Hurts, probably actually.
Hey, that's a good comp. Maybe he can pull out the RG3 type of thing and surprise.
Yeah, I still think even if he plays well, I still think they're still a notch below the Eagles and the Cowboys. But I mean, again, it's the NFL, man. You really never know. But like I said, it's gonna be
Philadelphia Dogs. That's who it's gonna be.
I love my Georgia boys too. I wish the freaking Eagles would stop drafting them.
They love them. Sirianni know what's going on. That GM know what's going on. He knows some winners when he see them. For this episode, you already know we end on positivity on all podcasts we do here at LK Pod, from CST to LK Sport Podcast.
Them boys.
That's not positivity. So therefore, I'm gonna tell you to walk by faith and not by sight. This is my positive moment for you today. Anything you want to say before we get out of here, G Money?
How about them Cowboys?
That was a great one. I thought Fly Eagle Fly and all that good stuff. What did Washington say? What is all those chants in that?
Well, they used to have the song. There used to be "Hell to the Redskins."
Okay,
so I don't know if they've adjusted that.
And what the Giants used to do?
I don't know.
Just
the G-Men, I don't know. Just something.
Oh yeah, true.
We're from New Jersey. We like garbage. I don't know, like something like that. I don't know.
You already know here at the podcast. We on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Watch our beautiful faces on YouTube at LK Pods. Also check out my Chill Sip and Talk podcast, which is a new part of this for me, and it's growing on me, and I love it too.
Subscribe.
You already know. Be humble, live humble, stay humble, and I'm thankful and grateful you listen to the LK Sport Podcast.